Critic Game Hub is Liverpool's largest gaming store and stocks all things games. Whether that be Pokemon, Digimon, Warhammer, the lot, they've got it. Also using our discount code TEAMCRITHIT, you can bag yourself 10% off orders on their online store. Ultimate TCG is a store that stocks everything TCG related. Whether that be Yu-Gi-Oh! Magic or Digimon, you name it, they've got it. Head over to their website and use the code TCHIT505 to get 5% off your order.
Hey guys, Paul here from Team Crit Hit. Back again today with another deck profile. Going today's deck profile, it's a little bit special, a little bit different, something I've never done before. I've got Francis Denton on the channel. Now Francis Denton has topped loads of events, he's won a couple. Pretty solid player. Most of us know him from the Gen Con, I believe it was. He won with the Black Royal Knights. But he's a really solid Lillithmon player, and that's what we're doing today. We're doing the Lillithmon deck profile. We have a bit of a chat about what he's done in the Digimon scene so far. We have a bit of a chat about the side deck and the mulligan rules, all that type of stuff. So, pretty interesting, pretty good video. It's pretty long, and I do have to warn you guys, I am still recovering from a very bad flu. So you might hear a bit of heavy breathing from me through the mic. I do apologise. I didn't realise the mic would pick it up, but it has done. So I do apologise about that. But all in all, the video is pretty solid. I hope you enjoy it. And thanks for watching. See you on the next one. Hello everyone, Paul here from Team Crit Hit. Back today with a deck profile from Francis Denton. Now everyone knows Francis Denton by now. He's done quite well in the Digimon. He's doing his Lillithmon list that he come third with in the London Digifest, I believe. But yeah, let's pass it straight over to Francis. Let's start by telling us a little bit about yourself, Francis.
Sure. So I've been playing for quite a while now, before it was even announced in English. Took me a little while to start playing competitively. I used to just play fun decks, so it took me a while to get into the competitive side of things, but it's been going pretty well. I normally shy away from the top decks because I don't really like mirror matchups. So, yeah, in terms of tournaments, I won the first online Grand Prix. I come third place at Evo Cup in November, sorry, and then first place in the regionals in December. And then obviously the UK Digifest, I come third place this weekend with Lilith to win at Lilith, which was
nice.
Fitting.
Yep. So how many people was at the Grand Prix that you played in? Good amount.
I think after they had a little hiccup with like the formats, so there was a lot of drops before. But I think after that round one, there was about 350, I think.
It was a pretty big event though. You won it with Black Royal Knights as well, which is pretty.
Yeah, it was
pretty good.
It was a global one, right? Because it was American.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. So you've done quite well there, European plus the US. You're pretty solid. So yeah. Go for it. Go straight into it.
Sure. So in terms of matchups, wasn't too much variety. 6 out of 7 rounds were blue. I'm sure everyone that plays this format is probably going to start seeing that a lot. It's, pretty good deck. Probably approaching tier 0 right now until people can figure out like the best way to counter it. But we'll have to just see what goes on in a few tournaments. The other game was Christmas. It was very close. Christmas is pretty good against Lilith in general. Side deck helps a little bit. You can side in Rebellionmons and things like that to help the matchup, but it's not the best. It's pretty rough. So yeah, let's just jump into the profile. Eggs, we just playing the 4. Demi-Mirror. It's the best purple egg. It helps filter through your deck, and it's an on-deletion. We can trigger that a lot ourselves. We have a lot of ways to destroy our own stuff in this deck. We don't see the 5th egg. Either we'll win or we lost by the time we'd even get to the 5th egg. So you just want to maximize consistency. So we should play 4. And then so level 3s we have 4 BT2 Gabumon. On deletion, draw 2, trash 1. So same as Demi-Mirror, helps filter through the deck, and it's also a non-deletion effect instead of non-attacking, so we don't have to potentially hit a tamer to try and trigger it. We can pop with our own stuff, which is very nice. 3 Gazimon, memory blockers. There's a lot of Pokemons running around, so it's always nice to block the memory. Mirror matchups as well, potentially. I wanted to play 2 and I wanted to side 1. but I was trying stuff out on the side, so I didn't have the room, so I had to cut something else to make room for it instead. And then the one elect, we're only playing 8 rookies. With Mulligan, you can kind of be a little greedier with your deck list, and yeah, we draw out for our deck so much. So we mostly only see the one before we can get going.
Another thing, how did you find the mulligan and the side deck ruling?
I didn't have to mulligan that much. Side deck I actually liked because there's a lot of matchups where you need certain cards, but this certain iteration of Lilith compared to last version, you don't have the room to play all these tech cards, mostly in level 4 and level 5 slots. So the side deck actually helped me like prepare for different stuff. I effectively pre-sided a lot for blue.
Yeah.
I wasn't playing any like on-play effect like Labomon or anything, because if it comes into play against blue, you're just gonna get wrecked. So I mostly just kept it good against blue as much as I could, which was lucky based on my matchups.
Yeah.
Lillithmon on deletion pops are level 3, so Bokomon's is the main ones, or Madoki, also the bane of this deck's existence. We'll talk about level with Deathclaw. You can Deathclaw this, you pop 2 guys, which is really strong. Yeah, just the 8. Found it was fine. A lot of the time, I draw 2, and then it would make it really hard to mulligan. So, yeah. Onto the level 4s, probably the main reason to play the deck. Eismon engine. So 4 scatter mode for Eismon. So on deletion, draw 3 trash 2. If you get the god stack of Gabumon, Derimera, and scatter mode, draw 6 trash 4, which is that puts 7 cards in the trash. Your Jack Wave's nearly live already. That can be as early as turn 2 potentially. And then the Eismon, if you have a scatter mode in trash, when you trash it, it gets played. The one round I lost, I didn't see a scatter mode top 30 cards in either game, so it was just variance catching up on me. There's not really much I could do. Yeah, scatter modes. This Eismon is like the main reason to play the deck. It generates 3 bodies, which you can then evolve your level 5s on, and it's just filters your trash so fast. It's ridiculous. It gets out of hand very fast. And then we have 2 Ginkakumon promote. It's got rush. You can bring back an Eismon Evolve for 1. It's a one cost swing with rush out of nowhere. Really good for surprise lethals. I like running 2 because it can also get you out of some bad hands potentially. It can evolve on level 4, so if you have a rough hand where you just have, for example, like no scatter mode but normalized one, you can evolve that and then evolve this on top, try and dig for something better.
Good.
It's really strong, 6k as well, so it kills the hybrids and security, which can be nice. And then 2 Kinkaku. Madoki Betamon's the bane of this deck's existence, so all the rookie hate, you can play the better. That's effectively, yeah, you kind of need these. And it's used in 4 cost as well, so she's cheap to play if you don't have any rookies, which can come up quite a lot because we don't play that many. And then the other reason to play this deck right now is the Cerberus-Mon engines. So 4 Werewolf and 4 normal Cerberus. So normal Cerberus on deletion, draw 2, trash 1. Level 5, so we can evolve it onto our Eismons we've played back. With this effect, so it's easy to get out. And then werewolf mode, you can blow up a Cerberusmon to refund its cost, effectively comes nothing, and it also has rush, and it's 9k, which is really important. Kills a lot of stuff in security, like annoying stuff like Beowulfs. It can swing over Beowulfs, swing over like Aldemons and things like that. It's really good. Also, because we play a lot of level 6s that have good Digivolution effects, you can swing with this. It's going to live most of the time, if not all the time, against certain stuff like blue, and so it's you can then evolve after and carry on with your plays instead of having to waste a rush. You can loot these cards for forever. It's so strong.
So is this the Cerberus engine? Is this the new way of playing it now since the Mega Fusion disappeared? I'm not really a purple player, so I don't really.
Definitely, yeah. So this deck feels less loopy without MDF. Most of the time you're using Lilith just for the extra memory instead of like going into Zwart and bringing back other stuff. Obviously when you can get Zwart back and you can play 2 Cerberus ones and you have werewolves, it's just 2 extra attacks. But a lot of the time you're just using the like loot part of the deck just to gain a lot of extra memory instead of actually just generating a load of bodies.
Yeah.
These cards are fantastic.
Cool.
Also, because this has Rush, you can evolve this on an Eismon you play for 3, and it's also like another promote effectively,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
just costs level 6s, of course. 3 Lillithmon. When Digivolving, add back 2 options, and then when you use an option, gain 2 memory. So loop Jack Raids with this, just gain so much advantage over a turn. You can just go off forever, kill people from 3-4 security fairly easily once you've set up a bit. Yeah, it's Lilith.
To never need the 4th.
No. In fact, I don't even need a 3. I think I would probably even cut it to 2, but a lot of the time.
Yeah.
You don't, yeah. Sometimes, a lot of the times I end up having 2 and I end up discarding 1. So, you could probably cut it to 2. I'm going to try it, I'm not sure. But you definitely don't need the 4th, for sure.
Yeah.
Then 2 Nidhogg, fantastic card from this set. Extremely versatile, so it's got 2 effects. When you trash it from your hand using an effect, you gain a memory. So you can use this to end opponent's turn, for example. If they somehow like blow up one of your things, or they like crash into your Eismon, you can discard this and push the memory to your side potentially. And also got another good effect on Digivolve. Trash a card and pop level 4. So as I said earlier, Madoki is the bane of its existence. Here's another out to Madoki. You can pop a Madoki with this as well, which is really nice. Yeah, it's a fantastic card and great addition to the deck. Just to give you that extra memory that can push you over the line sometimes.
Yep.
And then the 1 Mastermon. It's the main finisher. As I said earlier, the werewolves don't die that often because they're 9k, so you'd normally just swing into security. Evolve the werewolf into that, you trash the other, bring back a promote. That's 3 damage. It's a good finish. It's how you normally will end most games. Trash the last security, so it's also safe as well. Safe to swing for the last damage.
Yep.
And then just the 2 Zwart. As I said, it's less of a, you're not really looping Zwart without MDF is the main thing I've noticed. So normally you resolve it once max. You never, and it's quite infrequent as well. So you definitely wouldn't play 3. It can get clunky, it gets brooky. I think 2's perfect. A lot of the time against blue, I was even siding 1 out, just because I didn't get to it enough of the times. So I'd normally just side 1 output, and we'll get onto that later. But yeah, so it's not as important as it was last set, and it's not as good as our MDF, of course, because even with like the 1 win rate we're playing, it costs 4 if you don't have Lilith out, or 2 with this, so it's not free. Not as good as it was. Tamers, 4 analog, filters the deck really fast, can grab your pieces like Eismon while sending a scat mode to the trash, so you have that set up already. Extremely good with the Cerberusmon engine. Obviously Cerberus is level 5, so if you bring a Cerberus out of Raise and pop it with a werewolf, it can't delete it, you can rest these, you hatch a new egg, so it effectively acts like a Mimi, and you gain extra memory, right? So you're, instead of just getting the refund from werewolf, you actually gain a memory, which can help like push you to that 3 threshold to go into a Lilith on top after you've been doing some stuff. So Turbo's trash, it's fantastic. It's also good against removal, right? It stops people being more likely to remove your stuff. If you've got a few down, they're going to be more cautious about it.
Yeah.
Path turn, so it's just
Really good card.
yeah, fantastic. The 1 Mat, I like it a lot against blue specifically. It can feel really awkward to not have a memory tamer sometimes. They can easily choke you with all the like 1 cost hybrids. They can evolve on each other. It also add back key option cards that you can only other get back with Lilith, but a lot of the time you'd want to just get a Jack Raid back instead. So another way to get those back, and being at 3 is really nice because it allows you to go straight from rookie to a Cerberusmon and raise in 1 turn, instead of potentially you get choked at 1, you have to evolve to level 4 and then pass back. So you can go straight to Cerberus and then go off on the next turn instead. So it just makes you a lot faster because important options that you need. It's best against blue just because they have the easiest way to choke. And then options, we of course got 4 Jack Raids, main card in the deck. As I said earlier, with Eismon you can get 10 cards in trash by like turn 2 or 3 very easily. So if you wait that 1 or 2 turns, it's already a Hammer Spark, and then it only gets more broken from there. You can get 2 memory, even 3 in the real late game. Security effect, gain 2 memory, so it's really good. So it wins your games in security, wins your games in hand. So 2 Death Claws. This card is MVP of the deck, especially this format. There's so many tamers in security. Your Icemon's not likely to die, so you need a way to blow it up. This is the best way to blow it up, killing a Madoki or a Bokomon in return. Yeah, even security effect. Effectively, Guy Force this format, destroy 1, 4 or lower, so against blue they're swinging with all these level 4s, you just blow them up or pop Bokos, it's so good. I ended up siding in a 3 nearly every game against blue. You need as many ways to pop your stuff as possible just because of the sheer low DP Digimon and Matt Tamers they play, so it's definitely the MVP of the deck. One calling, this card's broken. Don't need a Digimon on board to use it, but if you do, it's still fine. You can trigger analogs on your turn to get extra memory. For example, if you've gone into Zwart, you just pop the Zwart a lot of the time, trigger your analogs, get the memory. You can return up to 2 purples, so a lot of the time what I'll do is I'll have a rookie that I brought out, I'll swing, if it hits a tamer and it has a Demi Mirror under it, I'll pop it with this, I'll add back an Iceman and a promote. The Demi Mirror effect, I'll trash the Iceman, evolve to promote, and you just get a free swing effectively. So it's really good. And then we got the one Dead or Alive. This card is fantastic. It functions like a Hammer Spark with a Cerberus engine. Costs 8. Play a Cerberus from trash, play a Werewolf from trash, you pop your Cerberus, you get 9. So effectively it's a Hammer Spark. A lot of times it comes up as well because there'll be cards you want to discard. And you'll end up discarding a Werewolf mode just because like you already have the other pieces, and then you don't feel like you've lost a Werewolf because you can bring it back with this. If it ever activates in security and you have a target, particularly early, you probably just win that game outright. Getting a free Cerberus or a free like Werewolf that you can evolve to Lilith like early in security, you just win the game. So I would love to play more, but there's not that much room in the deck. And then the 1 win rate, it's not as good as MDF, so we only play 1 instead of 2 MDF like last set. It still does come up. Helps get into Zwart for 2 if you have a Lilith, because you get the refund on the memory you pay for it. Also, it's less good as well because with the hybrid meta, people are playing the cute mons, the Shakomons, and things like that. So yeah, only the 1. It gets a bit bricky if you play 2, so we're trying to make it as consistent as possible. Yeah, that's the main. Side deck. Most of the day I only sided in 2 cards. Besides, because I was only playing blue. A lot of my side deck cape against yellow. I mostly pre-sided for blue with the Death Claws, the Elects, and no one play rookies, that sort of thing. So most of my hate was towards yellow, which I didn't even play. So besides this card, obviously 2 Rebellies. It's good against red decks, Jesmon, red hybrid. It's also good against Christmas, which is more and more popular, I suppose. It's a good card, and it's even good tempo, right? If you evolve it and you have Iceman set up, you can trash another Iceman, so you get Rebelli and a free body with his effect, which can come up in terms of like building a wide board. Yeah, it's really good. Main reason I'm liking side decks, I don't have to main this card. The Cerberus engine takes up a lot of space. You kind of want 4 of each. So the fact that you don't have to main this just makes your deck more consistent off the base in a game 1 instead of this card being useless against stuff like yellow, for example. So the side deck really does help this deck particularly. Yeah. Then the Deathclaw, get to blue. Need extra ways to pop your stuff, also extra ways to clear the board. So the Deathclaw's good, sided in effectively every game I played against blue. So the one calling, I didn't ever side this. It was mostly for slow grind games, just to get back pieces I need. If my board gets wiped, I can just play this, take a turn to rebuild against like decks like yellow. So yeah, I'd never sided it in. Could probably swap it for something else. 2 Lillithmon. I've never actually tried this engine because I didn't play against yellow, but in slow grind games in comboed with Dead or Alive, you can pop a bunch of Tamers whilst getting a body, or acts as a semi-Gaia Force, and it gives you a level 5 body, which is like crucial in this deck because you can go to Lilith, you can go to Master, you can go to Nidhogg. So if I played against any slow decks like yellow, I would have sided this in. Really strong. They play TK Kari, annoying Tamers like that. You can Dead or Alive for 8, pop it, and then they have to deal with this body. If not, you can Schwartz, add back, or you can go Lilith, add back this. and then you have another way to bring back another Lillithmon to pop another tamer. So it does definitely snowballs, gives you that grind game. I didn't actually have to use it though, because I only played against blue, so still need some testing on that front. The one shutdown, didn't ever side this in either. A lot of blue guys, outside of Spark and I guess the one Ice War and some Howlins, I just didn't feel like it was worth it to side in. It was mostly for a mirror or any Cherubi I played against. If they evolved to Cherubi, just play this, and then effectively they just sat on Cherubi for a turn, and then you could just kill them next turn, which was the thought behind it.
Yeah.
So security effects also bonkers, because a lot of the time it surprises people where they can't use them to end their. Normally people play options to end their turn, but they can't with this. Comes to their hand, so it turns off options for 2 turns perfectly.
It's such a good card.
It is. My one Spice, back for revenge. I love it. I actually want to put it in the main. I sided in with Deathclaw every game against blue. I didn't get to use it too many times because I'd already won the game by the chance I'd even could have used it. But it has a fair few applications of this deck, mostly with the Cerberusmon engine. Right, you have a Cerberus on board, you play back for revenge. You play a werewolf, pop the Cerberus, trigger any analogs, resolve your Cerberus, Gabu stacks, it comes back, and then you can play another Cerberus and pop it again. So you just get 2 bodies for 2 memory effectively. It's very good. I mostly put it into punish slow decks as well, where I just play it on a Cerberus, I get load of cycles, load of bodies. It did win me a game against blue. My opponent had a Madoki out and I had a Lilith with sources, so I just played. I had 2. I played this. I popped my Lilith, rested all my analogs to gain the memory. Lilith come back. You can use a once per turn effect again to gain that memory now that Madoki's off the board. So it was nice to trigger analog. So yeah, it was definitely good, and I do want to continue testing it more. I probably put one in the main. I just want it's very snowbally if you can ever resolve it on a Cerberus and another interaction that comes up in people see Cerberus, they normally panic and they just drop their memory guy straight away. So if they give you 2 and you have an analog, you can back for revenge a Cerberus, Deathclaw it, pops their memory blocker, Cerberus comes back, you've rested analogs, and then you can now go werewolf and start going off instead of you just having an empty board and they have a memory blocker. So it's another way around memory blockers effectively if you've got a combo of Deathclaw plus back for revenge.
Looking through the deck though, memory blockers do sort of put a damper on it.
Oh, 100%, yeah.
You're getting a lot of the blue hybrid decks now playing 4 of it, 4 Siako and 4 of the Madoki Betamon as well now. So
yeah. The outside of BT4, the Strabbies aren't that good in the blue deck. A lot of them aren't running Koji, right? So it's not really worth playing the BT7 one.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think you just max out on the floodgates. But yeah, we need as much rookie hate as we can. This combo helps get around rookie hate. It helps get around the floodgate rookies, and also lets us gain so much advantage against slow decks as we're just getting another Cerberus for 2 memory against yellow and Cherubi and stuff. So it lets us just be so much more aggressive, so much faster. Yeah, I really like it. Obviously, it doesn't have security effect, which sucks, but you can always add it back off Lilith if you need it that bad, or Matt.
Yeah.
So it's definitely a card I want to keep testing. The side deck, yeah, I mostly sided in the Deathclaw plus the back for revenge all day. Nothing really else come, and besides the rebellions against Christmas, nothing really else come up. So I do need to try test some more stuff. I need to find yellow players to see if the Lillithmon engine's even worth running, or if I just win that matchup anyway.
Cool.
So yeah, that's effectively it. That's today.
Awesome.
And site.
So, you a fan of keeping the mulligan and the side deck around then, or would you get rid of it?
From what I played, I am. I like side deck just because it lets me. It's 2 reasons I like side deck. It lets you make meta calls about an event and still not get punished. So for example, you think blue's going to be everywhere, you pre-cypher blue, but then if you get unlucky and you only play against yellow, then a lot of those cards are going to be useless. Side deck helps with that. You can plan for multiple stuff and you can side to cover a deck's weaknesses. I also think it benefits experienced players and players that can make calls on what they think is going to show up and text to beat mirrors and things like that. So I think it's just a lot better for experienced players. I can see it being problematic in the future. There's certain cards that are like very not good in the side deck. So obviously Avenged Kidmon, just if Musket can like never really be a good deck again if that exists. In the future, Merciful Mode against like any purple deck that rolls around trash, you just side that in, shuffle like the 10 important cards back. So like, I can definitely see the worries. Right now I like it just because it lets you plan for different things and surprise your opponent.
I like it. I like the side deck a bit as well because it gives the bit lower tier decks a bit more of a more playable thing, if you would say. Like, so the more roguey decks become a bit better with the side because you've got that option to side things in that will help against other decks.
Yeah, that's true, right? Because obviously a lot of people, if they're playing, they're not going to side for like rogue decks, right? They're mostly just going to side for what else they think is going to be most popular. So it does give the rogue decks a more chance to shine in that regards. But it's definitely problematic, right? Because you can see like they're probably not going to design for side decks, so they might put cards in that, like they might make cards that are just like in a main deck you commit slots to, but in a side deck it just like ruins a certain deck. You can't play the deck at all. So like Avenged Kidmon's like the prime example, right?
Yeah.
So yeah.
Just wrecks Muskets completely, doesn't it?
Yeah. So mulligans, I like it. It's very difficult to decide to mulligan a lot of the time. Sometimes it's really easy when you just draw that like awful hand, which is like another point for mulligans, right? You draw the awful hand, you just lose the game on the spot. But a lot of the time it's very difficult to mulligan. You see like 2 cards that you like are really important for your deck, 3 cards that are bad. You have to make that decision whether you need to risk it. If you're playing a slow deck, against a slow deck you might want to just not mulligan and just play it safe. But if you're playing against like an aggressive deck, for example, there's certain cards you like need to find. You can be that aggressive mulligan and plant and use that risk to try and get the card you need. So I think I like mulligan so far. I think it should stay.
I like mulligan. With me being a Jessmon player, it obviously helps that brick situation with the Jessmon. It does bring Jessmon out a bit more. So, but the problem that I find with Jessmon is obviously you're only playing the 4 saviors, you're only playing the 4 Jessmon.
Exactly,
so if you open like 3 of your Jess or something, which it does happen in the deck, I've done it plenty of times, you don't really want to put them at the bottom.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
You're never going to see them again, are you?
You see those key cards, like some hands you might open like 2 savior, a Jez, and then like 2 ties, and like if you mulligan that, you might never see a savior again. It's like, what do you actually do? So a lot of the time it's not an easy decision to mulligan. A lot of the time, because so for example in this deck I'll see like BT2 Gabumon, like normalize one, no scammers. Sometimes you want to just dig for the scammers straight away, but like because I'm only playing 8 rookies, if I see like a Gabu and a Gazi, I can't get rid of that. I've only got 6 of them on the deck, like. So like a lot of the time I was never hard mulliganing for Eismon, which you could say I probably should be, but my hand was like okay enough where if it's near, it's fine, but if it's like a lot further through my deck, it could be rough. But that's just the decision you have to make. So it's actually very skillful to mulligan, I think.
Yeah. Right then.
So I definitely think we should stay.
Yeah. I completely agree with you. I do like the mulligan and I do like the side deck, so I hope they do decide to keep it. I think it's a lot better for the game. You have got a lot of players that really hate it, but a lot more I think like it. Does do well for the game.
I think they have to bring more options. So for example, like, not when I say options I mean like just different things, different colours on the side, because right now it feels like blue just has the best side deck by far, right? They can just side for like anything.
I think so.
Also why there's no
I think black has a really good side deck option though, doesn't it?
Yeah, but the decks are weak.
Yeah, that's one. Yeah, but it does start getting better. It is coming.
Blue's the best deck with the best side options. You've got like all this. You got like the Shakos, the Madokis. Stuff like Azulong if you want it, or like things like Supreme Cannon, like Purple Mimis. You can just side so much. But it's like it just has the most options to side. Purple's good. It's just this deck particularly doesn't have the room to side a lot of stuff. But just if you're playing like a purple toolbox deck, you'd have loads to side. But this because you have to play Cerberus and you have to play the Iceman engines. It's like a lot of your space is just gone at that point. So
yeah.
But it's definitely I do like it. it probably does become problematic in the future with certain cards like Merciful Mode, like I was on about earlier.
Yeah.
If there's another purple deck that involves having like a high trash count, it just like you just shut down the strategy like instantly, right? It's just so we'll have to see where they go with it.
Right then. Okay, thank you very much for coming on, Francis. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Hopefully, I hope you do better in next tournaments. Not that you've done terrible in these ones. I hope you get higher. I hope you get more first places. Really awesome player. And I hope to get you on the channel again in the future.
Yep, thank you very much for having
Thank
me.
you.
Have a good one.
Yep, you too.